introduce myself. I'm Agent 14, and welcome to my, I guess you could say, if you will, my fireside chats. So I've got some Milo ready for this great conversation, and I'm actually also trying to go over a few things, and one of them that I really wanted to try and hone in on is life and structure. So today, being the first day of the year, welcome to the new year, everyone. 2022 has come, and I kind of just had this idea of the Agent 14 podcast and what I wanted to do with it. Didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with it, but I was like, you know what? Let me just I thought of the first episode or this pilot, which if you will, would be like the irony of it, because it's coming into the new year. Let's the other side of the coin of it being like the irony of coming to it without even properly and formally like planning out what I want to talk about. So this is really just straight off the brain, pretty much. I got my computer in front of me. I was trying to get a screen going as well, so you guys can maybe I could also have a video with this audio going with it. But I just want to talk about random things, and I feel like this is the avenue for it. I sent my girlfriend a video and some friends my old YouTube video from like 2014. I said to myself like, hey, I don't know why, but I just decided to play it just a few minutes ago, and I played it and I'm like, wow, like I remember making this video. I remember like the amount of like myself. And honestly, I'm about to get into the first topic right now, of it being another year where essentially the market beats almost every single hedge fund. So pretty much this is one of the biggest stories that came out going into the new year, was that, hey, the S&P closed this year at about, I believe it's 29% performance year-over-year gains, and not many 27%, please correct. And not many hedge funds were able to. Persian Square did what? Let's for you audio people. 20.1% this year, and Citadel did about 24.3%. So they have different strategies. I don't know where this report even came from, but it looks like Bloomberg Terminal. 0.72 at 7.4%. Tiger Global 3%. I don't know if that's. I'm trying to remember who runs a lot of these funds, and I honestly don't even know. But I do remember hearing them or watching a video, and then like, oh yeah, this is the guys running the fund. I just can't remember right now at all. But yeah. So I mean, like. That really just goes to show, I've heard this tried and true model of people that, don't, don't try to time the market, but it's more so about the time in the market. I definitely probably said that wrong, but something to that extent, and I hope that, had that same magnitude or impression on you as to the meaning, but I think I said it as well as I could. And not only that, but then when you start to look into it, take him, I follow him on Twitter. Awesome journalist out of Bloomberg, and he posted that the best and worst performing stocks in the S&P. So I wanted to try and see, right, if I could potentially find trends within them, right? I mean, I feel like I've been a real visual person, especially when it comes to technical analysis. That most certainly is my my realm, I'd say, my edge, if you will. But I just want to see if I could try and find some trends. Maybe let's make some bold 2022 predictions or something. Let's see. So the S&P 500 returned positive 26.89%. An astronomical number, let's just call it that, at 27.8, 26.89, sorry. And Devon Energy Corp, Marathon Oil Corp, Moderna, 40net, Signature Bank, Ford, Bath and Body Works, guys. NVIDIA, Diamondback Energy, and Encore Corp with top 10 performers. And just off rip, you could see a lot of games, right? So, or a lot of games so a lot of energy companies. First off, I'm not even really familiar with Devon Corp or the Devon Energy Company. It's just like, okay, hydrocarbon in the United States. Okay. It's a public electric, okay. It's pretty much like a public electric company, I'm assuming. Hydrocarbon, United States organization, Delaware. Okay. Wow. I wonder what moves they did this year to really, make what 173% to be the top performer of the S&P this year. 178%. That's pretty cool. And Marathon Oil, I actually asked my followers, hey, if anybody knows like how to really understand this gasoline market, because like it's really, really interesting to me, right? Because I'm gonna just leave it at this, right? A lot of big companies have come out and pushed electric immediately, right? And you think about it, you look at Audi and you look at Mercedes, and Mercedes just dropped the EQS, and you're saying like, okay, yeah, they're starting to make their foot there, but then other companies are coming out and they're also pushing initiative as well. It's like all electric in 10 years or so. I don't know exactly the date on which company specific, so don't quote me, but like Mercedes or they're like companies are full companies that have super large supply chains that span countries are announcing that they're planning to go fully electric. And I'm like, within a short time period too, and I'm sitting here like, wait a second, when do they think that they can like really, okay, so I'm looking right here. According to Mercedes-Benz USA, something to the extent of in 2025, they're going to launch 3 electric vehicles or 3 electric architectures. But I'm trying to see where they mentioned, and not only that, but I'm hearing they're killing the V8s and the C63s, and I'm thinking the only thing you can replace that with is with electric power. Like. What's that gonna look like, right? And I'm desperately asking somebody to explain to me how the gasoline industry works in terms of trading it, in terms of like the cyclical nature of it, like what happens there, because I can see the effects of the gas prices with going on their 18-month run. Like gas prices were 3 change. COVID came. Went down to like 210, at least here in Florida or South Florida. But Definitely, you'll see much worse cases out in California, Seattle. Because trying to get gas to the Rocky Mountains is most certainly a trouble. And not only that, we're having other issues with coming out the West, just getting everything that needs to get out in terms of demand and meeting supply chains issues. But yeah, so that is with that. And then Moderna, obviously, rah rah, save the day. Here comes our superhero, Moderna. I'm not even going to mention what for. 40net. Let's see what they got going on. Enterprise security. Interesting. Okay. So, meaning like, okay. So very cloud-based, I'm assuming. Let me read a few things. Strong performer. Yeah, I guess this is where I should probably do research before heading into a recession. But I feel like that's kind of interesting. Let's see. I'll definitely look more into 40net and some other companies, but also Ford. Ford coming in, and they're also claiming the EV push. So then it really makes you question, like, how are these energy companies, how are they not really going to get affected by this? Or maybe they're going to be working like inversely with each other now. But we'll see. Now, this other thing you see, Nvidia, and I feel like the chip sector is still very, like things are still running short in terms of chips, and I think they have another year or so of to try and meet demand. I mean, we got the Taiwan Semiconductor getting their plant, I think, out in Arizona. That's going to hopefully help. I think it should be done within sometime next year. I'd hope so. But yeah. Get the other side of this list, we're still going over. Of the worst performing of the S&P 500, we've got, let's see. We've got Citrix, Activision, Las Vegas Sands Corp, Penn National Gaming, and some Wynn Resorts as well. Okay. Are these, would you guys say that these are maybe the falling industries of what's going on? You guys, a lot of people think Las Vegas may not return or be Las Vegas as it was, but obviously everything will subside. Everything will revert to the mean, and we will have some scenario of it. But yeah. And I also know, I've also been like more recently diving into a company that is kind of doing the exact opposite of what this worst performing list is saying. Because out of this entire list, you see at least 3 names in relation to like a couple blocks of a strip in Las Vegas. Meanwhile, companies like Vici, it's a real estate investment trust. They've been buying a lot on in Las Vegas, and I'm pretty sure they own Caesar's Palace. A lot of real estate. I mean, yes, they're pretty concentrated, looking out in being specifically to be buying a lot in the Las Vegas just specifically, but yeah, I mean they've performed pretty well this year, I'd say. So what does that say for? I mean, I guess they just couldn't withstand COVID, maybe. in terms of the selling, like when it comes to the equities itself. But yeah, um, I'm gonna just leave it at that, and that's pretty much it. Hmm. That's pretty much it. Activision, they have a lot of legal trouble currently, I believe. Penn National Gaming. I thought this was a like a barstool kind of company. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Oh, okay. It's casinos, racetracks out in Wyoming, Pennsylvania. Okay then. It's betting though, so it's still, yeah. So basically, the losers of 2021 looks like casinos. At least in terms of company valuations. Casinos and like some travel as well. It looks like global payments. Interesting. What they got going on? Global payments making payment technology to merchants, and yeah. So I'm just gonna be honest. When it comes to payment processing, that industry is on the, I don't think that's the word. I'm going to say the word, but it's definitely not the word. I'm only going to say this because I just watched the Harry Potter 20th anniversary, and it's on the Horcrux. It's like global payments and payment and credit card fees, and that life is literally on the verge, climax, in my opinion, of extinction. They have reached their peak. These industries have reached their peak. So, in all reality, I think when it comes to that's probably where crypto and DeFi is going to start to step in even more, because we have these other mediums of currency, other mediums of transferring intention and wealth and money, which is a big part of our society, almost any society, just on the economic and psychological effects of that entire scenario. But yeah, so winners were energy, Ford selling that they're doing EV, Nvidia, and the memer as well, the Bath and Body Works of the scenario, to pull through 132% this year. And then the losers, global payments. I really think that they've reached their end. The merchants are tired of paying 3%. And as well as the casinos, a lot of like discretionary, maybe spending, I guess. I hope that's the right category but yeah, discretionary spending is gambling, obviously, right? And with the Penn National being down almost 40, the Wynn Resorts down about 24%, and yeah, so we're gonna leave that here, and you guys enjoy this beat. This song, I think, if I've done this correctly, I can play this song, and this will kind of be like our break, our break between whatever I'm gonna talk about next, or whatever it is. But just listen to this song, Enjoy. Hello. I hope you guys enjoyed that song. We're really like that song has been on repeat for the past few days. So really hope you guys enjoyed it. But I wanted to come back to you guys with this and just to talk about a few things, kind of wrap up and just leave it at that. So today's episode purpose, life and structure. I wrote down like a few things that really just I think have helped me over this last year, in terms of compartmentalizing and really having a lot of responsibility within a year. Is just always know what you need and what you want, right? Like, and you have to have that in respect to what goals you have, what goals have you assigned to yourself within a time period or within a matter, and then to go ahead and prioritize that, right? Place on a list of, hey, this should get more time out of me than this, so I should put this here because this means more to me. This may not, be as prominent or as important, because you have to continue to remember to move with a sense of urgency through life. And then not only that, when it goes back to what you need and what you want and how to differentiate those things, and then the goals that you assign to it, remember to break down those goals into bite-sized pieces, right? That's kind of the way I like to formulate, to think of it in a formula, right? Bite-sized pieces. So it's really to kind of try and take certain issues and certain things and apply first principles thinking to it, like the absolute first, right? So if I say, for example, I take a very first principles concept and I try to attach that to my trading approach, right? And I say to myself, well, hey, we have nothing but negative news coming out, and this negative sentiment, this negative air, and we're in a scenario technically when it comes on the chart that we could potentially get a rejection up here, and the VIX is starting to pop, and you start to see all these things formulate. I'm probably not even using the right word in this scenario, but to try and really just go ahead and say to yourself, like, oh wow, well, this makes sense. Like, in all reality, it just makes sense. And when it does, you start to why start to second guess it, or why start to attach more risk to it than is already there, if that's a way to put anything, right? So as you guys are going into this year, whether you're making a bet on Logan Paul's new fight or something that he's going to probably do or whatever, right? Or whether you play a game such as the crypto markets or such as the stock market every single day, and you have to calculate risk continually, or you're a politician, or know that you have to go ahead and really kind of, what about your geopolitical risk? Like if you say this word in this manner to this group of people, how will that affect them? So I do want to try and continually do that, and I think that to continue to talk about life and structure, I think it's really, really important to have your first principle goals, your first principle, the principles themselves, right? Like what is something that really really brings pride and joy to you. And I'll go out on a limb and say myself, it's honor, right? If your ability to have honor in your name, have your name mean something and have weight and affected, not just yourself but other individuals, and helped and really made your mark in a scenario, right? I think that's what the word honor means to me. So if you if that's your principal approach, right, you can go ahead and apply that to your ways in several different ways, right? So I know, for example, when it comes to working with myself, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, because I know that that is a reflection of my honor, a reflection of my name. Who's Agent 14 after that? And I think that again continues to go back to, and I'm going to do the exact opposite now of what I said when I first read the life instruction list, right? To break things down into bite-sized pieces, break down your goals, break down your tasks, break down, your problems that you need to solve, and then assign goals to it, right? So maybe this problem or project takes 6 or 7 things that need to be broken down to. And then each of those 7 things, you need to assign goals to them, right? You need to say, hey, for us to achieve this, we need to do A, B, C, D, all the way through probably F. Okay, boom. But that isn't maybe as much of a priority as project C is. And then you may have to allocate more strength and more time and more mental energy and more physical energy to that problem to prioritize it, so that you can then get that done. And you're all able to do that by knowing what you need and what you want to achieve. I think a lot of life and structure is good for you, and I think society has tried to show it to us a little bit. Appointments, school times, going to school super early, and learning yourself that, hey, you have to do this, or the fact that you have bills on a specific day that come, and society tries to teach you that, hey, structure is kind of good for you, because now you've been able to catch a rhythm and consistency in certain things, and you can calculate things more because of that, because it's more expected to occur. And if I were to sit here and talk about trading and certain things like that, every time I look at a chart or I take some analysis on what could potentially occur, I'm always looking for what I don't think what can possibly happen. 4 different scenarios, 7 different scenarios, just looking through the multiverse, or the probabilities of it all, right? And when I'm doing that, I'm planning things out, and I'm really starting to see where that goes. So if you are then again able to plan out multiple scenarios in your head, in your life, right? What happens going forward when you're basically setting yourself up at least one step ahead every time, right? If I know that if I make this X decision and I have 2 outputs of that decision, right? That's the obvious answer. Then you start to ponder on that decision a little bit more, and you start to find nuance factors of it, right? Like 3 or 4 different factors that could potentially come out of that decision as well. Now you could think, okay, well, I may have to worry about that as well. And that can also go into, game theory. If you move your chess piece this direction, you know that, he may take it out with his knight or his pawn just over there. So all these things, if you were to try and possibly get a mind map at all, it would be damn near impossible. But which is why you got to break it down into bite-sized pieces, because then you kind of get lost in a web of just continual like a perpetual loop of just looking for more and more, and then you end up overanalyzing, and then you tend to get some analysis paralysis sometimes, and you're not sure what to do. Then you go to this period of like stalemate. Like, you're not trying to move. You don't want to start anything new. None of that, right? And then that can also be negative and not so pleasant to your scenario, right? But I just really like that in terms of as a spiel of life and structure, and take that with that what you will, right? And maybe try to apply a little bit of that to yourself as well. I know that I've really just learned this in this past year, I'd say, personally, and I've been applying it really, really well, especially when if I were to come in and like get placed into monk mode, which I'm currently like entering, and yeah, I just wanted to share that frame of thought, share that form of philosophy, if you will, and yeah. So I guess that's pretty much it for the podcast. I also like this thing where I do like a word of the day, or like a word that I try to continue learning and stuff. So I'm gonna share with you with one word out of my list, right? And it's, let's see, I'm gonna just pick one randomly. Sorry, taking way too long. Probably should have ended the episode. Laudable, right? Laudable, basically, you're deserving praise and commemoration, right? So, and for that, it's an action, like you're receiving praise for the idea or for the goal being achieved, right? And what I can do is I'll turn these words into like, maybe like, okay, very, very like a cliche, I guess, but the word of the day, and the word of wisdom that comes from it, like what it means, right? So as you're going through this year, you will have set goals at the beginning of the year, like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode. You're gonna set goals. It's kind of like a natural thing, and you're gonna continue setting goals just as everyday life goes by. And I want you to know that if you don't hit them, or you do hit them right on the head, or if you're really just in the progress of trying to hit it, it's still a laudable action of you, right? You still are supposed to be, taking, or you can look at yourself and kind of take it to account and say, hey, even though I didn't hit that yet, I'm still working on it. I did hit it. Wow, I've accomplished something I set my mind to through life and structure, through whatever plan that you set for yourself. Or if you didn't hit it, but you bust your ass every day and out to get there, just know that you're learning from those losses that you took, so that you can eventually get there, right? So remember to laud yourself sometimes, if that's even the right word in this case. But I guess I'm just using some things, and celebrate your private victories. Celebrate them for yourself, and don't be too hard on yourself, right? So that's it for you all. Agent 14 signing out for this episode. I'll talk to you all in the next one.